What's good, everybody? What's up? From Setbacks to Success. Got two really important, exciting, interesting guests for you today. We're going to talk about gun rights. My first guest that we have on today's episode is going to be, we call him Double R, Rights Restored. What's good, my brother? How are you doing today?
What's up with you? How you doing?
No doubt, man. Good, man. Glad to have you back for another episode. The first one was dope, man. I really do appreciate that. And we also have our first time to the channel. We have G Money from Xcon Media. What's good, my brother? Straight from the A.
Straight from the A.
Yes, indeed.
Good, y'all. What
Yes,
is up?
sir.
Yeah, got a lot of love for the A. Spent a lot of time there, a lot of my life. I'm in, in Oklahoma City now, but just everything, a whole good half of my life was in the A. But anyway, we're gonna go right into today's episode, and we're gonna talk about a conversation about gun rights. This is a hot topic, particularly as it relates to being formerly incarcerated and getting your gun rights. And I just can't think of two better people to have on today's episode to talk about this, because you guys are talking about it very actively on all your social media platforms. Let's go straight into it. First question, I'll give this one to you, Double R. Do you think men and women who have a felony conviction, whether it be a state, federal, or both, should be allowed to legally carry a gun? And if so, tell me why.
Well, I'm going to say yes. Without a doubt, people definitely should. No matter whether you're a felon or not, you're an American. This is your Second Amendment right. And in today's stage in time, it's not just a right. It should be more of a duty. You look at what's going on around the world, what happened over there in Israel. People fell from the sky. That's a first world country just like this one. So I don't know why you would think something like that can't happen over here, as well as the crime and just the way the cities are nowadays. Why wouldn't you want to be able to carry a gun, defend your home, and defend your life? I mean, no, the Second Amendment does not go away from you once you come out of prison. Once you're out here, you're a normal citizen. You got all your rights just like everyone else. That's just the one right. In some states it's voting, but that's just the one right that they want to keep from a lot of the felons. And I think that's one of the most important rights that you can have as an American.
You know what? And I'm glad you said that, and I appreciate you saying that, because I'm gonna come back to that with both of you guys, because one of the things with that Second Amendment right, it seems to be that it's such a difficult thing to try to get your rights when you know that you're legally, constitutionally guaranteed those rights. And I'm going to try to figure out from you guys why that is. Some states here make it so difficult, even our federal government as well. But G Money, same question to you. Do you think men and women with a state, federal, or both convictions should be able to legally carry?
Listen, if they let you out of prison, that means you are fit for society. So why is it that the Second Amendment is the only right that you got to fight to get back? It makes no sense. I don't lose my, let's say I'm gone for terroristic threats. I didn't use my right to the First Amendment when I came out. So why should I have to fight for a right to get back? Hey, if you break the law, commit another crime, you going back to prison.
That's right.
Yep.
So why I try to stop people from protecting themselves is crazy out here. The border is wide open. You got all these normal people coming from other countries, but also killers and all kind of people that did all kind of stuff in their country. Just a couple of weeks in Georgia, a Georgia college student was sent to the next life by somebody that wasn't supposed to be here.
Yeah.
So I just think that everybody, it's a God-given right, shall not be infringed. It is what it is. If you served your time, get out, you're not on probation or parole, you should be allowed to defend yourself and your home.
Point blank, period. Appreciate you saying that, brother. Yeah. So, Double R, I'm going to go back to you on this one, because you're in the state of Ohio, correct?
Correct.
And one of the fascinating things about your story was that you were able to defend yourself, and I'll show kind of a brief clip right now.
Write a petition. You can write it on your own. You can go down there and get some paperwork from the court, but I didn't want to use paperwork from the court because it really doesn't give you enough room to explain. It's like 4 lines. How can I convince you that you should give me my gun rights back in 4 lines? Mm-hmm. So I wrote out my own petition, ended up getting my day in court. And when I got there, the prosecutor was there. And I was like, at first that shook me a little bit. That scared me a little bit, because I'm like, man, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know this much. How can I argue against a prosecutor? This man spent his whole life arguing cases, arguing in court, and he he knows the law. So I think what benefited me is just the amount of research that I did doing,
of your testimony of how you defended yourself or represented yourself, in court against the DA in your county and that judge, and you were able to get your gun rights back. Just from what you're seeing in Ohio, or even because I know you talk to a lot of people nationwide, what is the issue? Why is it so hard for men, formerly incarcerated men and women, to legally carry again and that Second Amendment right to be withheld?
Well, I see it coming from two different areas. One is there's just people in this country that don't want people, whether you're a felon or not a felon, to have guns. And the felon issue is what they're going to use as an excuse to just take away gun rights from more people, from a larger group of people. And I think the second issue is that people don't understand what a felon is, what a person looks like when they get back from prison. They think, oh, he committed a crime, recidivism is high, so that this person is likely to commit another crime, or he's big, he has a gun, he's scary, I don't want to be around him. I recently told the story of how I was banned from a gun club because I'm a felon. Now, they didn't have this ban before I joined this gun club, but after I joined the gun club, when it comes time to renew my membership, they say, oh, no, we don't allow felons in this gun club. They don't care whether you can legally own a gun or not. You're a felon. They want nothing to do with you. So I think a lot of it is just people fear what they don't understand. And that's part of the reason why I want to do what I'm doing, is to get out in front of people and show people like, hey, I'm a felon. I own lots of guns. I'm safe with them. I train with them. There's nothing to fear here. There's nothing to fear by giving gun rights back to felons.
Now, have you found, just also with that, have you found in Ohio that it is difficult to get those gun rights back? Or do you think that you're finding more people who have taken the route representing themselves and they are getting their rights back?
I won't say it's difficult. I think that they really want to see that you're doing the right thing before they give you your gun rights back. There's some people that I know that have cases like domestic violence, for instance. I don't care what state you're in, domestic violence is really hard for those people to get firearm rights back. But I won't say it's hard, because there's a pathway to it. You just got to follow the steps to the pathway. So getting the rights back themselves isn't what's hard. What's hard is for somebody to put in the work to actually do it.
Gotcha. Appreciate that. G Money, to you, same question. What are you seeing as far as in Georgia, as far as getting formerly incarcerated men and women getting their gun rights back? And what's your take on it?
I think Georgia has made it easy that if you do the right thing, you can, get your gun rights back and everything. But I think the last couple of years with everything that happened in 2020, they have been giving people pardons, but not giving them the gun rights back. Because I think that they're looking at trying to keep as many people disarmed as possible. I think that the revolving door of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, those type of crimes, if they decriminalize that, which a lot of judges around the country are doing. Like I seen a video yesterday of somebody in Kentucky, judge threw it out stating that possession of a firearm by a convicted felon is a constitutional violation. So, I think Georgia, it was easy at one time, but due to the issues that was happening in 2020, they made it just a little bit harder because they trying to keep as many people as possible disarmed.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
And I have to say this, man. I think and I'm going to share this if I can, man, bring it up. But I think you have the most interesting opinions about it that I've heard, and I know. I mean, you're spot on with it. But you said criminals don't give a damn about whether it's legal or not
At all.
Yeah. So talk about that. And let me see if I can play a clip here. Social media. I think this is your TikTok or YouTube right here. But let's run it.
Yeah.
I've been saying this for quite some time. Fake anger management.
No sound.
Every single day,
I can hear it.
Okay.
About what's coming out of somebody's mouth. The Second Amendment is all about self-preservation and self-protection. I'm trying to figure out why people get so aggressive when they got their tool on. So you willing to jeopardize your freedom, your kids, your relationship, everything you work for, your house, cars, everything over a 5-second decision. Life in prison is a long time. It's 2024 and y'all still getting tricked off the street. Just know ain't no firearms in prison. Got some people that wake up every day to make your life a living hell. 5 seconds to get in, 30 plus years to get out.
A lot of people don't understand that. Hey,
Oh yeah, bro.
well, you be trying to listen. I got a friend that I did time with. Me and this cat, we almost came to blows. You know what I'm saying? Before we got to know each other,
Right.
you know, because he had just rolled up in the dorm or whatever, and you know, you're not changing nothing in here. You know what I'm saying? So we almost came to blows. We became really good friends after we really got to know each other because we was on the same outside detail and found out that you know we had a couple of ex-girlfriends that was you know, best friends on the street. So, but anyway, he was trying to prove a point to somebody. He did his 7 years and got out. First of all, I'm gonna say that he didn't do nothing. In prison. I was the one that was moving the phones and you know what I'm saying. I was engaged in everything. He was one of them cats that didn't do nothing. He did his time, got out. He was out by maybe 10 years or so. He trying to prove a point to somebody. He unalived him, and now he got life without. You know what I'm saying? He was on first 48 and everything. You know, they try to prove these points and you know they willing to die for it. I don't understand that. You know, me myself personally, whether it's on me or not, I'm de-escalating all situations. I'm trying to walk away, period. You can't make me mad enough to leave my kids again, you know. So I just wish people, you know, make better decisions when it comes to, you know, engaging in conflict. Walk away, see another day. There's nothing wrong with that.
Double R, you got a take on that? How do you look at, you know, kind of when you should use and, you know, a situation gets escalated? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you're only going to draw your firearm if you know for a fact your life is in imminent danger. If you know that you're about to be killed and the only way to save your own life is to draw your firearm, that's when you draw it. I carry my gun, my pistol on me everywhere I go, every day. Never had to pull it out. Been in conflict, still never had to pull out a gun on anybody. So, yeah, you're going to get into situations, you're going to get into altercations. As a steward of the Second Amendment, as a concealed firearms carrier, you got to be smarter. You got to be a step ahead of everybody else. You got to be more responsible than everybody else. These are some of the things that you learn in, of all places, prison. How to conduct yourself, how to carry yourself, how to stay out of the way, stay out of trouble. It's the same principles in prison as it is out here. So, you know, and that's why I don't see why there's this big stigma on felons in general, when felons are going to be some of the best stewards of the Second Amendment that you can never meet.
And you get it back, you don't want to lose it again.
That's right. Now, speaking now, and this is something, and I'll stay on with you, Double R, on this, is that you made mention on our last interview that you were also a member of the National Rifle Association, the NRA. My question to you is, do you think being a member of that organization helped you in any way? And have you found that for formerly incarcerated men and women, being a member of the NRA, particularly when they're going to in the application process of getting their gun rights, can be advantageous to them?
I'm going to say no. I'm not going to sit here and just trash the NRA. But I am an NRA member. I have an NRA card. The reason I became a member of the NRA is because of the gun club I was going to shoot at was the NRA gun club. And we already talked about it. These Second Amendment advocates don't want felons shooting with them. So these are, every member of that club is an NRA member, you know. So I still have my NRA membership because eventually I do want to become a firearms instructor. And I got to go through the NRA to do that. NAGA, that's the National Association for African Americans. It's the basically it's the Black NRA. They're working on some things to get them, that way they can make certified instructors. But for now, it's through the NRA. So to answer your question, is the NRA helpful for a felon to get their gun rights back? Not at all. There's other organizations out there, but the NRA, so they used to have a pathway helping people get their gun rights back. But Congress, and it was through the NRA, but Congress quit funding that program. Doesn't mean that the program doesn't exist anymore, because it still does. You can still file a petition to the government on a federal level to get your gun rights back, but they're not going to hear the petition because that NRA program no longer has funding. So no, I don't think the NRA is helpful at all to felons. They used to be, they could be, and they should be, but as it stands right now in 2024, they're not.
That's crazy, bro. I would have never guessed that, man. I thought those would be, I'm very shocked to hear you say that. I really thought that they would be the organization, premier organization, you know, kind of waving that flag on behalf of all Americans. Why do you think, and G Money, jump in on this if you have some ideas behind why that might not be the case But why do you think that they're not there for all Americans?
I just think that, if it was moving that in that direction, everything that happened in 2020, it was so much going on down here. I don't know about other places, but I know here it was going down every day in the street. And I just feel like they're a part of the train of trying to keep as many people disarmed as I
Yeah.
think that's all it's about. Let's face it, man. Gun laws don't work. They just
Yeah.
don't. Armament is real, man. That is real in this country. That's what they're trying to do.
I think the reason the NRA isn't as helpful is because there's no benefit in it for them. They're not going to increase their money. There's no politicians out there saying, hey, we want felons to come to us to get our vote so that we can get in office. So NRA is a lobbying organization, which means they go to politicians with arguments and ideas in order to get support from the NRA's voters. And there's no pool of felons saying, hey, you will get our vote if you change this issue. So essentially, I think that's what's going to have to happen on a broad level, is for felons to come together and get organized and say, if you want the vote of this organization, then this is what you need to make happen.
That's interesting that you said that as well. And I'm going to go just a little slightly bit off the rails, but on that point, because I thought I've been thinking the same thing. I've had a guest on out of Missouri, former incarcerated guy by the name of Reverend Alex. He is running for an office. I just want to go ahead, and I don't want to take any of the shine from you today, but I want you to start by telling our guests, who you are, what you're doing that's so phenomenal, and, why is it that you're choosing to do this? So let's just start it off there.
Well, Quincy, my name is Reverend Alexander J.S. Heidenreich, and I am a congressional candidate for District 4, Missouri. I'm running to represent the good people of District 4, Missouri in the United States House of Representatives. I am also an independent presidential candidate for 2024.
House of Representatives in his state, and he is running as an independent. And that's, kind of looking at this election coming up and looking at, the Democratic Party, the Republican Party. I don't really see any particular party that represents the interest. And I know we're a unique niche within the broad spectrum of America. So I'm not expecting them to put that on the forefront of all issues. I don't see a party that's represented, and I know that he's running as an independent. I'll ask again, Double G Money, I'll start with you, man. From a political point of view, kind of tying into Double R's point, do you think that we need to be more active politically? If so, do you have a party that you like that you've been looking at? Just overall, what are your thoughts on the political landscape on that point?
I think I think they playing ping pong with our lives. They just back and forth with it. At first, not knowing anything politically, I just automatically assume that I must vote Democratic.
Yes.
That's what I came out the joint. I'm thinking that's that's it. I'm black. I gotta vote Democrat. So, but then I start digging after the 2020 election. I start digging a little deeper and paying attention and everything that was going on. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not sure about this no more. And I know from my own experience, I had a tractor trailer business while Trump was in office. I was okay. Everything was moving. Fuel prices was low. Everything was good. Man, 2020 hit and I lost everything. I had to hit the reset button.
Yeah.
And when it comes to gun rights, I just feel like, let's take, for instance, the constitutional carry states. They're mostly Republican ran. It's all of the Democratic states like Illinois, New York, California. You'll never see them being permitless carry, So from a political standpoint, for me, if you trying to disarm me, I'm not voting for you, period.
Yeah.
Nah, that's what I can do. I can cast my vote and everybody around me is following me, and when you trying to disarm the country, which to me, Democrats are trying to do, I can't vote with them anymore. I can't.
Okay. All right. That's the word is born, man. I like how you're standing on that. Again, to you, Double R, what are your thoughts on that issue?
Like the brother was saying before, or for a while, I was definitely a Democrat. And coming out and seeing the state of the world has really opened up my eyes to a lot of things. My main issue is the Second Amendment. That's who I am. That's my channel. And the main thing I want to protect is that thing you see sitting on. And the Democrat Party has done nothing but attack the AR-15, wanting to come come and take the AR-15, ban the AR-15. I tell you what, I got an AR-15. It's a hunting rifle. I got an AR-15 pistol. It goes in my backpack. And I got this AR-15 and 5.56, and it stays at the house until I need to pull it out. They want to attack this one gun because it does so many things to keep Americans free and to keep Americans safe and to keep Americans fed. So I can't vote for a party that's going to want to attack my freedom. So that's the reason why the only party I can vote for by default is the Republican Party, because I'm a gun nut.
Got you. That's what's up. So I appreciate you guys sharing that. I've been thinking about that, talking about that. I was wondering, for myself, just some background. I kind of just been looking at the political landscape. I do feel also similar that the issues related to me specifically don't rest in the Democratic Party. However, I'm just not, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out whether I do feel what's just kind of central to me is like, I just feel like there should be like a strong third party in this nation, period, because of just all the just corruption overall. I just think that there's a gap that lies somewhere in our country that if there was a strong third party, then there may be some better balance to a power of how things work and how people are represented in this country. But I haven't really gotten to a mature thought process behind that, but that's kind of where my mind is thinking. And I know for a lot of us men, who we're just kind of lone wolves, independent thinkers anyway. So I'm like, why are we just prescribing to anything that's just kind of like a, already pre-programmed way of moving and doing things? Strong independent choice is the answer, but I don't know. I'm still working on that. What were you going to say?
I would say I used to live in a heavy Democrat city. I lived in a city and it was all Democrat. Everything was Democrat run. And I'll tell you, there was a lot of crime, a lot of robbing, a lot of people like me out there doing things we shouldn't have been. Right. And that's how I ended up in prison. Getting out, moving to a Republican area, moving to an area where I'm probably the only black person for, 50, 60 miles. I'm a supervisor. I supervise people. I work for the city. I go to council meetings, and it's all Republican, and I don't have a problem here. They always say, Republicans are the party of the racists, but I live in an area where I feel a lot safer than I did when I was living in a Democrat area. I'll just say that.
Same for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying here in Oklahoma, man. I don't have, and there's a lot less things moving and going on, man, right now for me. So, and like, G Money was saying, I seem to do better under Republican leadership. I don't know why that is, but it just seems to play out that way that, I just seem to do better. But go ahead, speak on that.
I feel like, and this just me, I could be missing it completely, but I feel like Democrats want you to depend on them for everything. You depend on me. We got this. If you having crime in your area, we'll take care of it. Call us. We got these nice stimulus checks for you. We just just depend on us. And right. I just feel like I feel like Republicans, they're not really gonna give you anything, but they're gonna get out your way and let you get that money. They open up so many doors. Like, if you want these opportunities, walk through this door and you got it.
Gotcha.
But it's strictly up to you. So, I done did a flip since the last voting season, and that's another thing I be posting about. Like, it's okay. If the Republicans get to start the tripping, hey, and the Democrats getting more on page of what I'm talking about, then I'll vote for them again. I don't consider myself a Republican or a Democrat, but what you would not do is disarm me.
That's right.
I'm gonna vote for the Second Amendment.
That's number one. I'm voting for the Second Amendment for
hands down,
regardless of the party.
Okay. Yeah. Let me go into this, and I appreciate it, man. Your thoughts again. And this is one, man, and I know this is a little taboo, but I gotta bring it. Being African American men who are formerly incarcerated, and you are Second Amendment advocates, gun rights advocates, do you believe this issue of, and I didn't share one story, and I want to take this moment to share one story here in the state of Oklahoma. I knew of someone, African American, who was here, who applied for their rights to, carry, and they didn't have any convictions, but they just had a lot of just stuff on their record. All of this stuff had been dismissed, but no convictions, and they were denied. And I was really kind of, again, shocked shocked, stunned by that to some degree, but it is what it is. And again, I was going to recommend them to the NRA, but I see that that's not an option. Doesn't sound like an option now based upon speaking to you guys. I guess, my question is, do you think this is in any way a racially motivated issue on any level? And Double R, I'll let you take it first.
I would say originally, I would say so. When they first started taking guns out of the hands of people, it was when there was a large population of black people in prison, and it was a way to disarm the Panthers and everybody else, give them a prison number. Now they can't own a gun. I would say nowadays, no, it's quite different. I think society has flipped to where it's not black and white. It's more of this political ideology versus this political ideology, or this way of life versus this way of life. So I don't think it's more of a black and white issue. Like I said, this is a majority white county that gave me my gun rights back.
Gotcha.
And they could have told my black no.
Gotcha.
So
yeah.
I don't know how to respectfully disagree with my brother, man. I think it is. I think it is racially motivated. I think that they're trying to keep as many minorities disarmed as possible. And I could speak from, instances in Georgia, like for some reason they got the pardon and the gun rights restoration separated. Now in the same book, it's partial pardons are prohibited, but why would you give somebody a pardon and not the gun rights back? The purpose of a pardon is to give you everything back that you lost at the time of the conviction.
Okay.
So if you give somebody the pardon back but not the gun rights back, that's a partial pardon. And I had a couple of friends that's what happened to them. One guy got one conviction. We got arrested together in 96. That has been his only conviction. Cause something else, went to prison, did 16 years, got out. He put in for a pardon. They gave him the pardon and did not restore his firearms rights. And it was a possession, what it was, theft by receiving.
Theft by
That's all he
receiving.
got. And they did not give him his gun rights back. It's crazy. I do think it's a race thing. Because you have more brothers getting caught with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. I mean, the statistics is online. It might be like 85% of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, 85% of getting charged is black. So
Gotcha.
I feel like it's very much racial.
Interesting, man. I don't have a real, I need to look a little further into it, but I want to come back to that actually for myself after doing a little further research on it, because it is, I need to, I would just be curious to find out what the data is saying on that, but appreciate your thoughts on that. And then last question for today, I want to ask you, do you believe, somebody had mentioned earlier that the people who have domestic violence charges are going to be harder to get their gun rights back? And again, I want to kind of ask you guys, do you believe that are there any types of cases, any types of charges that you believe should disqualify you from getting your gun rights back? And G Money, I'll let you take that one.
This is around the country. Domestic violence, they place that worse than murder. There's a lot of things that you would not get back if the police are called to your house and you got a domestic violence charge where y'all have just been pushing and shoving and whatever, and that was the end of it. That house is now marked to having a domestic violence call. It closes a lot of doors for you. Do
you agree with that?
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, G Money?
Yeah.
That it should be closed? Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So I think I'm on the side of, if a person, once you go to prison and serve your time and pay your debt to society, you should get every single right back. It does not say at the time of conviction, you're going to be sentenced to 15 years. And then after the 15 years, you're just not going to have some of your constitutional rights for life. That don't say that when you sign that paper on Judgment Day. Just feel like if you serve your time and you're not behind bars, you should be allowed to have all of your rights, because guess what? If you break the law again, you lose everything again.
That's the thing. And and that's one thing we got to continue to remind people, that just because you have a background doesn't mean there are people who don't have backgrounds who commit crimes. It starts somewhere. Right.
Yeah.
your mass shooters around the country don't have any priors, not even arrest,
Nope.
no juvenile record, no nothing. And that's ones that's taking everybody out.
That's
In
right.
Yep.
free zones, I might add.
That's right. And to your other point is that real criminals don't care about getting no. They're gonna find them a piece out here on these streets if they need to do whatever they want to do. So it doesn't make the public any safer, essentially, by not denying people their Second Amendment right. Double R, what are your thoughts on that? And then we'll wrap up.
Well, I think my views changed since the last time we spoke about that. I think once you get set free from prison, you should have all your rights back. If they feel like the crime you did was so heinous that you should never have your civil rights back, then they shouldn't have let you out the door to begin with. As soon as the person is set free from prison, they should have all their rights back. I don't care what crime they did. I don't care what case they did. I got a guy I used to work out with in the joint, and he hit me up, and we was talking about it, and he has a domestic violence, so sadly he can't get his gun rights back in his state. And I think it's BS. I mean, he's a good dude. He's a hardworking man, taking care of his family, turned his life around, living straight. But because of that DV, he can't have his rights back. And it was just something with, in his house, not even with a spouse or a woman or anything like that. It was with family. So if you feel like I should be free to pay taxes and give my money to the government, then I should be free to own a gun and defend my life if need be.
That's what's up, man. You heard it all, guys, watching and listening. You heard it all here first. Again, these two brothers are doing their thing on social media, all platforms. G-Money, tell everybody how they can reach you and contact you directly.
I don't care where you look. It's Xcon, Xcon Media on every social media platform. Hit
All
me
right,
up.
that's what's up. That's what's up. And Rights Restore, how do everybody find you as well?
Just search Rights Restored on YouTube, on Instagram, and TikTok. Those are the only social medias that I use right now.